What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode on this wonderful Tuesday evening of the KBR show. This is yours truly, King Buddy Ray, coming back to you on this wonderful Wednesday evening. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in again, and thank you, everyone who has tuned into the previous videos. This has been really fun. So we're going to do another episode here. The Knicks-Pacers game just ended, but last night we had an even better game, in my opinion, from the Oklahoma City Thunder defeating the Minnesota Timberwolves in Minneapolis, Minnesota, in Game 4 to head back to Oklahoma City tomorrow, up 3-1. It was close. It was 128 to 126, and yes, they played the foul game late. And if you can't tell by my energy here, I'm not a fan of that. And anyone that didn't watch the game, what I mean by the foul game late is they are up 3 points, or up 2 points. Or no, up three. Up three. Minnesota has the ball, down 3. And Oklahoma City decides to foul. I'm not a fan. One, I think it should be banned. Two, if I'm a player for the Thunder, we're the best defensive team in the league, right? If I'm the coach telling my team to foul and I'm one of those players, I'm like, Coach, do you not trust us to get a stop? You can't lose. You can't lose unless you foul a three-point shooter, and if you foul a three-point shooter and he makes it, you should lose because you shouldn't have fouled him to begin with. So you can't lose. I'm not a fan of that rule. If you are a fan of that rule, please explain to me why and maybe talk some sense into me. But I'm not a fan of that rule, being down 3 and fouling to make them make one and then miss the second one on purpose. I'm not a fan. Even though it was funny late that SGA grabbed the rebound while he's on his butt and tosses it, and the fan catches it. And they had 0.3 seconds left. Should have had 0.6. Brest got that wrong. And couldn't get a shot off. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section, or shoot me a message on, should that rule be changed this offseason? Are you a fan of fouling when you're up by 3? Or are you like me and want to trust the defense? That's just me. But let's recap the whole game. The Oklahoma City Thunder versus Minnesota Timberwolves. And they play tomorrow night in Oklahoma City. So good luck, Minnesota fans, on that one. So 64 bench points for the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves bench showed up. Shannon Jr. showed up again. Dante DiVincenzo, Dante bombs. He dropped bombs from the corner for threes. He was good there. Naz Reid had 11 points, so 3 of 4 from deep. Jaden McDaniels had 22 on 9 of 15. Alexander Walker had 23 on 9 of 15 as well. Dante, as I said, was dropping bombs all night, had 21 on 7-11 from deep. Shannon Jr. had 9 points in the first half, didn't really have that explosive second half, which was a miss. But the biggest thing is the Thunder kept Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle in check the whole entire game. Ant-Man only had 2 shots in the first half, man. He was 5 of 13, 1 of 7 from deep for 16 points, and Randle had 5 points on 1 of 7, 0 of 3 from deep. So the Minnesota bench showed up, but Ant-Man, he did say he didn't want to be the face of the NBA, and then he had the big game in game 3. Game 4, he stayed in the locker room. He didn't show up. He wasn't aggressive. They were throwing different bodies at him, though. So shout out to the Thunder. They were throwing Lou Dort at him, and then when he got tired, they were throwing Casey Wallace at him. And then when Wallace got tired, they threw Jay Will at him. So they were rotating bodies at him all night long. All night long, which did play some dividends there. Rudy Gobert played much better on defense. He had 13 points, much better on defense. They were trying to take advantage of him again like they did in games 1 and 2. But he didn't let that happen. So good job, Rudy. You are a defensive player of the year, 3 times? When you were with the Jazz, for a reason, because you can play good defense. So the Thunder showed up 128, 126. Let's go over some Thunder stats for you. They were 4-0 following a loss this postseason. So good bounce back, especially after the 42-point butt smacking they took on, let's see, yesterday was Monday, on Saturday evening. That 42-point butt smacking they took on Saturday evening. They bounced back though. So good job. Chet was 9-14 with 21 points. Jalen Williams had 34 on 13 of 24 with 6-9 from deep. SGA was efficient again, as always. He had 40 on 13 of 30, 12 of 14 from the line, but he also had 9 boards and 10 assists, so one board shy from a triple-double. Alex Caruso was aggressive on defense. He really played great defense in the second quarter and the third quarter on Julius Randle. Why he can play great defense on someone 2 times his weight, don't get it, but good job there. Kind of got in Randall's head a little bit. He had 10 points off the bench. But overall shooting, Oklahoma City was 50% from the field, 43% from deep. Minnesota shot 51% with 43 from deep. So both teams showed up. That's why I was back and forth all night long. But the biggest thing is Oklahoma City took advantage of 21. Yes, you heard it right. 21 Minnesota Timberwolves turnovers, which accumulated to 25 points for the Oklahoma City Thunder. So they took advantage there. Minnesota's got to stop turning the ball over if they want any chance in Game 5. Julius Randle's got to show up. The Ant-Man's got to show up. The bench showed up. Shannon Jr., Dante, Steven Shinzo, Naz Reid, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, they all showed up. But Ant-Man didn't really show up. Julius Randle definitely didn't show up. So the Thunder are going to need 2 things in the next game, in my opinion. SGA and J. Will are going to have to show up. But I think they're going to need more from their bench, honestly. In my personal opinion, they got outscored by what? Let's do the math. 36 points. They got outscored by 36 points on the bench, and that's not normal because Oklahoma City is normally on the other side of that. They normally do the outscoring. So I think the Oklahoma City bench in Game 5 is going to have to show up back in Oklahoma City. Can the Wolves respond? They had a great game and still lost by 2. But if you're a Timberwolves fan, shout out Alan Martin here. You should be a little excited. I don't think Julius Randle and Ant-Man are going to have that type of game again, especially Ant. Julius Randle, yeah, he had the one in Game 2 and then had a big Game 3 and then off Game 4. But he's been on, off. So he was off. Now he goes back on. I think Ant-Man shows up again. Chet was huge. Can he continue to keep it huge? Can the Thunder close it out and advance to the finals, which would be big if they can, because it may possibly give them an extra day's rest, because the Knicks probably aren't losing in New York. And Game 1 of the NBA Finals, no matter what happens, is starting June. I saw it earlier today. I think no matter what happens in the finals here, no matter what happens in the finals, Game 1 of the NBA Finals is going to be on Thursday, June 5th. So if the Thunder close it out tomorrow, they can have a week off, which would play huge dividends in favor to them, especially because bodies beating each other up all game long. So can the Thunder take advantage and win Game 5 tomorrow? If you ask me, I don't think so. I think Ant-Man's going to show up, and I think Ant-Man's going to drop 35 plus, be very aggressive, may even drop a triple-double. Randall's going to drop 25. I think Chet, SGA, and J. Will are going to show up, but I think the difference in Game 5 will be, I think both teams are going to play the same, but I think Ant-Man and Randall, are both going to show up. So I'm going to pick Minnesota to win Game 5 and go back to Minnesota down 3-2 on Friday evening. Let me know what you all think in the comments. Also, let me know what you think about the foul. Should you foul when you're up 3? Do you trust your defense? Because you can't lose. The worst thing to do is make a three, tie the game, boom. You can't lose there. That's why I'm not a fan of the foul. You can't lose unless you foul a jump shooter, and anyone knows in basketball you don't do that. That just doesn't happen. But I've got Minnesota winning game 5 to go back to Minnesota down 3-2, maybe possibly force a game 7. But we'll see what happens. Ant-Man better show up, or they're going back to Minnesota on the plane to go back home. Or, as a lot of people say, they're going to go on the plane to Cancun, enjoying everyone else. So we'll see what happens. I think Minnesota is going to show up. But let me know what you all think. So now on to the game that just ended probably about an hour ago. The New York Knicks versus the Indiana Pacers. Mr. Halliburton was in the building. Not just the father of Mr. Halliburton. He was back after a 9-game suspension with his little tussle with Giannis. But Mr. Tyrese Halliburton was in the building. And that was my biggest thing pregame. Was who is going to play better, Brunson or Halliburton? Who's going to play better between the two? And that was obviously Tyrese Halliburton. He played much better. Aaron Nesmith was able to play. The first 3 games was a 2-point margin. And this ended up being, what was the final score? This ended up being what? A 9-point game? So it's still a close game. The biggest difference, though, was Mr. Clutch. Halliburton only had 1 point in the fourth quarter. He did end with 31 points on 9 and 19, but only, 2 points in the fourth quarter. Karl-Anthony Towns had 24 of 8 of 14. He didn't play much in the second quarter because of early foul trouble. He also had 12 boards. OG showed up, had 22. Bridges had 17. Hart came off the bench again. Mitchell Robinson started. Hart had 12 points on 11 boards. But the Pacers really did a good job holding Robinson to only 3 boards, and only one of them was offensive. So good job to the Pacers game plan there. But Mr. Halliburton showed up triple-double with 32 points on 11 to 23, 15 assists, 12 boards, and 3 steals. Good job, Tyrese Halliburton, to you. And the biggest stat line that a lot of people aren't going to see there, 0 turnovers. He was very efficient, didn't turn the ball over, played probably the best game of his career. He's the third person behind Wilt and Oscar Robinson to get a triple-double with 15 boards and 10 assists and 30 points. So congrats to you, Mr. Halliburton. Pascal Siakam added 30 on 11 to 21. Benedict Mathurin, the Kansas Jayhawk, had 20 points off the bench, 5 of 8 from deep. Very key. His best game in the playoffs so far. They forced 17 turnovers. The Pacers were aggressive, running and gunning. Played in their favor, which made them force 17 turnovers for 19 points off of those. That was the biggest difference. And the fast break was 24 points to 2. 24 to 2 in favor of the Pacers. It was close. It was neck and neck late, and then Opie Toppin, wide open, top of the key, took it to 7. Game over. Nail in the coffin, as you want to say. So the Pacers lead the New York Knicks 3-1. Game 5 will be on Thursday at Madison Square Garden in New York. New York, you better show up. Instead of stand up, you better show up. Mr. Brunson, especially you in the fourth quarter. Karl-Anthony Towns, get out of foul trouble. You had 2 really stupid fouls early that put you on the bench for the majority of the second quarter. So Cat better be smart on defense. Brunson better show up in the fourth. He had 15 points in the first half, and then 15 in the whole second half, and only 2 of those in the fourth. So he did have 31, or 16 in the second half, my apologies. He did have 31, but only 2 in the fourth. And he's been clutch all playoffs. Not tonight. The Pacers held him. They were throwing double and triple teams at him, though. So it was very hard for him to get going in the fourth, congrats to Rick Carlisle and the Pacers defense there, Aaron Nesmith. That ankle was not bothering you. You played great defense on him, especially in the fourth quarter. But for the Knicks, fans, you better show up, be loud, be proud. But Mr. Brunson, got to play better in the fourth quarter because we all know it's going to be tight. You got to show up in the fourth quarter if you want to go back to Indianapolis for Game 6 on Saturday. You got to. Karl Anthony Towns, you got to play smart. Josh Hart is going to be aggressive. The bench is going to be aggressive again. Landry Shamet played well. So you've got to show up. You can't turn the ball over 17 times and get outscored by 22 points on the fast break and expect to win. I don't care who you are. The Pacers, don't run with them. Slow the game down. Attack the basket. Make them foul you. Play smart. Go at it late in the shot clock for the Knicks to have any chance. The bench did play well, as I mentioned. The bench played well. Let's look at some bench stats. As I said earlier, Hart had 11 boards and 12 points off the bench. And that's really about it. But Landry Shamet had big minutes. Only had 3 points, though. Darrell Wright didn't really play that much. Mitchell Robinson had 19 minutes, 7 boards. Only one of them was offensive, though. So, good job to the Pacers of boxing out that beast. Knicks, you better show up, or Indiana is going to win in 5. I think you guys have got it, but you better show up, especially you, Mr. Brunson. Especially if Stephen A's there. If OKC wins Game 5, I wouldn't be shocked if Stephen A's like, okay, I'm out. I'm going to New York. But if the Wolves win, he's going to have to be in Minnesota. So it really depends on what happens there. But he'll be there if he can. Trust me. So New York, you better stand up and show up for your Knicks on Thursday evening at Madison Square Garden. One of the toughest arenas to play. Anyone that's been in that atmosphere knows it. Anyone that knows basketball knows it. Anyone that you can hear the noise on TV. It's by far the loudest NBA arena. And probably one of the loudest sports arenas in all of sports. So, Pacers better come to play. Or they're going to be going back to Indianapolis for a Game 6 on Saturday. I've got the Knicks winning Game 5 to head back to Indianapolis. To maybe force Game 7. I'm really not sure. I'll stick with my pick. Knicks in 7. I'll stick with it. I called it early. I called it when this series started. Didn't look pretty at first. But I'll stick with my pick. I think Knicks are going to win Game 5 and 6 and 7, obviously, because they're down 3-1. So I'll stick with my pick. Knicks in 7. So we'll see what happens there. So remember, Game 5 tomorrow in Oklahoma City, closeout game. Can they do it? And then Game 5 in MSG on Thursday. Can they close it out? Now to RCBL baseball. Good old Mother Nature was not nice to us today. They canceled all RCBL baseball games this evening because of the rain. And it is not looking much better for tomorrow. But if it doesn't rain tomorrow, the Clover Hill Bucks are traveling to Grottoes to play the Cardinals, and Massanutten will be traveling to Stuart Strath to play the Stuart Strath Diamondbacks. And then on Thursday, Grottoes will go to Elkton to play the Blue Sox. Hopefully Mother Nature is a bit nicer tomorrow, but I just looked at the weather before I started shooting this. Not looking promising, but you never know. So the Bucks do play tomorrow. Will be big. The next Bucks home game is on Saturday against the Massanutten Mountaineers at 7:45 at the Clover Dome, Buck Wilman Park. So to Major League Baseball, the Yankees have extended their lead or extended their winning streak back to 3. They're back at 3 again. They are currently leading the Angels in the top of the 8th, 3-0. So it is kind of nice later at night get to watch some baseball. The Tigers have now won 3 in a row and hold the best record in the American League East. It took them 115 games to win 35 games 2 years ago, and they've already won 35 games. So congrats to you guys there. They have won back-to-back against the San Francisco Giants. The Chicago Cubs are a surprising team in the NL Central this year so far. They've won 2 straight against the Red. Who have they played? It's not the Reds. They played the Reds over the weekend. I'm losing my thought. Over the Rockies. They beat the Rockies in 11 tonight. So it is now 3 straight. If you want to beat the Cubs, I saw an interesting stat when I was watching MLB show earlier today. They've outscored their opponents after 6 innings, 63-3. So if you want to be beating the Cubs, you got to do one of 2 things. Be up big before 6 or score some runs late, or good luck. You better get runs on them early. Mr. Jose Ramirez of the Cleveland Guardians has extended his hitting streak to 20 games, the longest for anyone on the Guardians team since 2015 when they were the Cleveland Indians. Hint, hint. Yes, they should change it back to the Indians. Let me know what you think in the comments there. Mr. Speed Demon, Ellie De La Cruz, for the Reds, hit 2 home runs tonight. First time he's done that in his career. But 2 big moves early so far this season. 2 big moves. Braves trade Orlando Arcia to the Rockies for Orlando. Going to one of the better teams in NL East to the worst team in the league this year. Thinking about you, Orlando. And Chris Taylor moves uptown to the Angels from the Dodgers. So 2 big moves there. But the biggest name on the market for moves in Major League Baseball is what are the Pirates going to do with Paul Skeens? Are they going to keep him? Or are they going to trade him? There's rumors that the Yankees can go get anybody they want with the trade pieces they have and the money they've got. Yankees are going to be interested in him. Boston's going to be interested with him. Rumor has it Baltimore's going to be interested with him, but they're not used to spending the money. Case in point, why Corbin Burns is an Arizona Diamondback. But Boston and New York are front runners for him. Even rumors of the Dodgers. They don't need more pitching, but there's even rumors of him being there, so it's going to be very interesting to see what happens there. So, MLB baseball has been off to a good start so far. My Yankees are in first place. I'm very happy, so that makes me happy there. Now on to hockey. The Edmonton Oilers just defeated, probably about 20 minutes ago, the Dallas Stars 4-1 to take a 3-1 series advantage. So Game 5 of that will be on Thursday. Mr. Connor McDavid showed up on defense tonight, played very tough defense. But the Hurricanes shut down the broom service that the Panthers were going to give them. No broom service last night. No sweep. They shut out the Panthers last night, 3-0. Their Game 5 is tomorrow at 8 o'clock on TNT. Now to local sports. Playoffs start this week. Hopefully Mother Nature's nice to us tomorrow. TA baseball will be home at Ray Hewell Field against Rustburg. Boys soccer on Friday will play the winner of Allegheny versus Monticello. TA softball is the number 1 seed in the region and will play the winner of Rustburg and Earshot on Friday. Girls soccer will host Brookville tomorrow. Boys tennis will host Rockbridge on Friday. So hopefully Mother Nature's to us tomorrow. So the TA baseball team and the girls soccer team and the tennis. No, there's no tennis tomorrow. And the girls soccer team can host their games tomorrow. It is projected to rain. Obviously, soccer and playing the rain, baseball not so much. But local stuff there. Now on to the NFL. Today it marks 100 days, so the last triple-digit day, until the season opener of the Dallas Cowboys against the defending Super Bowl champions, tush push, Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are my early pick to win the Super Bowl. I am a Steelers fan. We're going to be trash. We're probably going to get last in the division this year. Hopefully, for Mike Tomlin's sake, we still have a winning record. I don't see it, though. But I've said that the last 3 years, too, and he proves me wrong, so I'm probably wrong on that, too. But my early pick for the Super Bowl is going to be the defending champs, Philadelphia tush-push Eagles. The Steelers, though, what are they going to do with Aaron Rodgers? They say they're holding out. I don't think we should. I think we should just trust Mason Rudolph and or Will Howard to get us by. There was rumors today, I've heard, while watching NFL Live, that we could trade for Kirk Cousins. So, don't like that one much better, but I do like it more than the Aaron Rodgers possibility. Shedeur Sanders, in the last couple days, signed a 4-year, multi-million-dollar deal with the Browns. Will he start for the Browns? My opinion, yes. Should he? No. But my opinion, yes, if you're going to sign him to a 4-year deal, you better start his butt. So he'll probably start week 1 there in a very tough division with the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Bengals in that division. So it's always fun there, especially a defensive battle there. But again, 100 days until the first game of the season of the Cowboys versus the Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday evening, which is a September 4th game. I saw that date earlier. Now to tennis. Tennis has been very interesting. It's made me get up early the last 2 mornings. It's going to make me get up early tomorrow morning too. For those of you that don't watch tennis, it starts at 5:30 because it is in France right now at Roland Garros, the French Open. So it starts a little bit earlier, which is nice, kind of nice to get up, eat some breakfast, and watch some tennis before work. The Frenchman himself, Mr. Gael Monfils, was back after about a year and a half off from playing. He was in a 5-set thriller that he won. He's a Frenchman himself. The 4-seed Taylor Fritz loses in the first round, so that is big for your Carlos Alcaraz, Novak Djokovic, Jannik Sinner guys. But also Daniil Medvedev loses in a 5-set match, and he was interviewed post-game, and he said, after this, I'm sitting out the clay season next year. He's not played well in the clay ever in his career, so you can't blame him if you really want to be honest. Should he ever sit out? No, but can't blame him for wanting to sit out. Novak Djokovic, Carlos Alcaraz, and Sinner won in straight sets. Women's shocking. Number 19, Crystal Navarro, or number 9, excuse me. Crystal Navarro loses in straight sets. The rest of the women's higher seeds had won in straight sets, so nothing really close on the women's side there. So very fun day in tennis. I got to enjoy some tennis the last couple days. This is my second favorite tennis event behind the Wimbledon. Wimbledon on the grass is just something different. I've always wanted to go and even play on a grass court. Maybe that is my dream in mind one day to go to Wimbledon and watch a tennis event there. So very, very, very busy day in sports for the next couple days. You've got Game 4 tomorrow, Oklahoma City looking to close out the Minnesota Timberwolves, or Game 5, excuse me. And then Game 5 at Madison Square Garden on Thursday. The Knicks looking to send it back to Indy for Game 6. You've got RCBL tomorrow if Mother Nature holds off. You've got high school sports starting tomorrow for TA and for other local schools if Mother Nature is nice as well. And so last but certainly not least, your positive thought for the day. What holds you? What holds you? Put your name in place of mine. What holds Zach back? What holds Matt back? What holds Bob back? What holds you back? Don't let others hold you back. Don't let the influence of what others say hold you back, or what even others do hold you back. Don't let them hold you back from what you want to do, or even what you don't want to do. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Don't let them hold you back from that either. Set a goal. Let it be high. Set 3 goals. Set a reachable goal, a semi-hard goal, and then what I call a C goal, which is very hard to hit. An ABC goal. A is kind of easy. B's in the middle. C is very hard to hit. It's okay if you don't hit it. That's why it's a C goal. But set your goals and go for it each day. But ask yourself this each day, and shout out Bobby Hofacker for sending me this and talking about this with me earlier today. Ask yourself this each day. Is it helping you achieve your goal? If not, change it and do something that helps you achieve what you want and what you want your goal to be. Whether that's cut out the negative, whether that's do something different, whether that's cut out things that are holding you back. Yeah, it's hard to cut things out, and it all boils down to change, myself included. It is hard to cut things out because we don't like change. Us as humans are afraid of change, but when you cut out the negativity, you're okay with the change of that's going to bring, and you cut out the hard things, you're going to see the change you want and be able to achieve that B and C goal that you set. but set it. Don't let people influence or hold you back. Be okay with the change that it's going to take to get there, because that's the hardest thing, is being okay with the change. That is the hardest thing. We all want things more for ourselves and better for ourselves, but we don't want to change things to get that more and to get that better. So don't let others hold you back. Don't be afraid of change to get to where you want to be. Keep winning, keep driving, keep thriving, and never, ever, ever quit. Go win, go be you, go achieve. Don't let things and or people hold you back. Set your goal, your A goal, your medium goal, your B goal, and your high goal, your C goal. Change things that you need. Be okay with it. If you need to cut out the negativity or the hater, cut it out. You need to change some things, the way you think, the way you process, change it. Be okay with that. If it helps you get to your goal, be okay with that. Be okay with change. Go hit your goals. Never quit. Go win, because winners win and quitters quit and quitters don't win. So be okay with that. So thank you all again for tuning in to another episode of the KBR Show. This is yours truly, King Buddy Ray, signing off. And as always, go Bucks.